Musk, less than a year ago, paid $44 billion for Twitter. Even according to Musk, $20 billion over what it was worth.
We just revalued the company at less than half of the acquisition price.
Just so we're clear, $20 billion is about the annual operating cost for NASA. This ain't your regular screw-up, and you might be asking yourself, what sort of genius maneuvers himself into a position where he's going to lose $20 billion on a single transaction? And just what would it look like if a man with that certain set of skills...
What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Try to run a social media company. Spoiler, it goes about as well as you think it would. Now for Twitter, probably their most valuable asset was their brand recognition. You know, the little blue bird, catchy name, sending out little sound bites, microblogging, tweets, like what a bird does. In fact, beyond that, what actually is there to Twitter? So less than a year later, of course, Elon Musk decides, let's just throw that in the trash and rename the site X, making it hard to spot on the browser tab from all those X's to closed tabs. Or maybe just a porn site. Yeah, could be either one. So now Musk's greatest fans can explain to their wives why they're paying $8 a month to X.com, which according to Musk will take over the world's finances.
If done right, the X would serve people's financial needs to such a degree that over time it would become, I don't know, maybe half of the global financial system. Or some big number.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the number is, but pretty big.
Really? Half the world's financial system. Just so we're clear, America is only about 15% of the world's financial system. And you're going to do that out of the defective cousin of the social media companies. To say this makes no sense would be giving it way too much credit. It's like someone rolling up with the generic idea that, we're going to make an app that does everything.
WeChat's kick ass. My idea would be like, how about if we just copy WeChat? Hey.
But WeChat is basically just a giant surveillance tool for the Chinese government.
To which the sycophants say, great idea, sir. How are we going to start building this everything app? And then the genius says, we're going to buy Hallmark cards. Fantastic idea, sir. Then what? Then we're going to rebrand it as B and turn it into an app that does everything.
So it would be by far the biggest sort of financial institution, but like I said, not really in the way that people are used to thinking about banks. Mm-hmm. Just the most efficient database for the thing that is money.
You heard it here first, folks. Elon Musk, inventor of the the Hyperloop.
But what if there was a fifth name for it, which is called the Hyperloop?
He's that much of a genius, he invented the Hyperloop 100 years before he was even born.
At 12, he built a video game he called Blastar, which started his lifelong love of inventing things that already exist.
Has now invented a brilliant new idea called a bank. But he has the amazing advantage of being first to market with this idea of the bank, which will really allow him to secure his dominance in this field thanks to his acquisition of a microblogging site? Because reasons. Yeah, really. The website that can't even pay its own rent is going to take over the world's finances because, reasons. But I'm sure Musk is taking this in his stride. I'm not overcompensating for anything like putting up a really, really badly made giant X on Twitter headquarters.
At this point, I think I know more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive on Earth.
Then set it to strobing meltdown on top of the building he doesn't even pay rent for, directly opposite some people's apartments. Yeah, have you ever wondered, what would it be like to live next to Elon Musk? Yeah. But what truly beggars belief is that then Musk tweets about how amazingly antisocial he's been. And because Musk prioritizes people who pay him $8 a month in the comments section, when you scroll down beneath that, you'll find it's overwhelmingly fans gushing about how awesome he is. Yeah, he's changed Twitter from a platform where you could go and see what anyone was thinking to a platform where you can essentially go and see what people who pay Elon Musk $8 a month think. Not so sure that's a winning strategy. This is, of course, before you get into the minor legal problems like X is already trademarked for social networking services by Zuckerberg. Well, don't worry, as we'll soon see, not only is Musk a social genius, he's also a legal genius. And I'm sure none of this will come back to bite him in the arse. You see, the whole X thing is a failed Musk idea from some 20 years ago, when Elon Musk looked something like this. But more on that later. Yes, Musk, who was going to put a man on Mars in 10 years, 11 years ago, found out that that was hard, like 100 other vaporware Musk promises from the last decade.
Still sounds pretty complicated, Elon.
It's like a tube with an air hockey table. It's really, I swear it's not that hard.
Yeah, for those who want to know where Elon Musk's Hyperloop went, they built a basically toy test track that sat outside SpaceX headquarters rusting for about the best part of a decade before it was eventually cut in half to make way for a functioning form of transport, a train, and the rest turned into a car park.
It's really, I swear it's not that hard.
So having found out that actually doing real things was hard, he decided to buy the ugly duckling of the social media companies. Then immediately tried to back out from buying it. This was, of course, after he'd waived any due diligence and committed to buy the company. He couldn't back out, then got sued and was eventually forced to buy it.
Yes, and then they said, no, you must buy us. Gun to the head, you have to buy us. I'm like, are you the same people who said you'd rather die than be bored?
Yes, wow, Elon, you made them an offer that was ludicrously too good to be true. And now you can laugh that they didn't want to sell it to you in the first place. And all it cost you was $44 billion.
We just revalued the company at less than half of the acquisition price.
Did you really?
Yeah, Elon, you really got the last laugh in there, didn't you?
Doesn't that seem odd?
So, I guess my question
Yeah,
to you.
this does officially make Elon Musk the most expensive and pathetic joke ever told.
Did you do that? Did you do that?
I kind of had to.
Right. Did you do that because you thought that a court would make you do that?
Yes.
Now he's suing the Twitter lawyers who owned his sorry ass and forced him to buy the company. Now, it's got to be said, did actually do some pretty sterling work, making Musk pay multiple billions of dollars more than what the company was actually worth. Which I have to stress is an offer that Elon Musk made, waiving his due diligence, all so he could make a 420 joke. And seeing as he was legally committed to buy the company, the lawyers made sure that he did, for a mere fee of some $100 million. No, seriously, the man who didn't care at all about the finances. He was doing this to defend democracy.
Important to the function of democracy. It's important to the function of the United States.
But you've described yourself.
I don't care about the economics at all.
Or to hear, this is not about the economics. It's for the moral good that you think it will achieve.
Who was just spending $44 billion to defend free speech. You know, even though since then he's done nothing but worry about the finances and try and charge people for free speech.
I think it's very important for there to be an inclusive arena for free speech. It's just really important that people have both the reality and the perception that they're able to speak freely.
For once, this isn't about power and money. Musk is doing it to save free speech.
And sometimes that free speech ain't cheap. I mean, for companies, it's $1,000 a month to register for free speech.
It's not an overstatement to say it could be the single most important development for free speech in the modern history of the United States.
And be protected from impersonation on Twitter. Yes, this is Musk encouraging people to, for the low price of $1,000 a month to, register to fight impersonations? Somehow? For free speech? Bizarre. I would have thought that if you allowed people to impersonate people on Twitter and didn't shut it down, that would kind of be a liability for the company. You know, something the company might have been sued for in the past, and a reason why they would have created something like, I don't know, a check mark of some sort for people to identify who was who they said they were. You know what would be really stupid? Would be if someone came along and abolished the system that protected Twitter from liability and stated that they would start a new program that would allow the activity that got Twitter sued in the first place if they didn't pay Twitter $1,000 a month. That's some 5D chess there. And now he's suing the lawyers who forced him to defend democracy and free speech. I mean, I'm no expert on this, but doesn't that mean that he didn't actually want to defend democracy or free speech? He had to be forced to do it.
Right. Did you do that because you thought that a court would make you do that?
Yes.
Claiming, ironically, that his case was so stupidly weak.
Quote, there were no novel or difficult questions of law involved, nor did the litigation require any special skills beyond that which Twitter could have. Now, this argument is particularly hilarious because Musk is actually admitting that the legal questions weren't that difficult because he really didn't have any legal basis for backing out of the deal.
You've described yourself.
I don't care about the economics at all.
Basically, that his litigation was frivolous. And if Musk had simply done what he was supposed to do by consummating the deal in the first place, Twitter wouldn't have to pay a success fee at all.
To hear, this is not about the economics. It's for the moral good that you think it will achieve.
And the deal, of course, closed at $44 billion, which means that the success fee wound up being about 0.2% of that eventual deal. So yeah, it's arguable that the success fee helped Twitter save a lot of money and that the board probably feels pretty good about it.
And just so we're clear, when Musk backed out of the deal, he was all like, yeah, rules don't apply to me, baby. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to post dang memes here. I'm rich, y'all. Then went on to badmouth the company, further damaging its existing stockholders, and tried to back out of the deal. While armies of sycophants gushed praise.
Just don't understand how people don't get this. Elon is trying to do everything within his power to close the deal. Free speech matters so much to Elon Musk that he's willing to spend $40+ billion just to ensure that people can freely share their thoughts, opinions, and ideas. He's not looking for an excuse to walk away from the deal. He's looking for a reason to close the deal.
Meanwhile, the lawyers just used Musk's Twitter antics as Exhibit 1 in the case against Musk. Meaning that Musk not only would have to buy Twitter at the stupidly overvalued price he had committed to, but had to buy one whose reputation he had damaged by bad-mouthing it.
How do you want to be remembered in history? Alongside the Wright brothers, Elon Musk, Zefram Cochrane?
And he had to buy a Twitter that had just spent $100 million in lawyers' fees, making him buy the company. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what a masterclass in incompetence looks like. So Musk is now suing the lawyers for a lawsuit that wouldn't have even existed if he had only acted in good faith, claiming that they were just unjustly enriching themselves.
Now, Musk's first claim is for unjust enrichment. He claims that the closing day letter called for payment of an unconscionable fee and was an unconscionable agreement.
Yeah. This is coming from the guy who paid himself a $50 billion bonus. Just to be clear, he paid himself in a bonus more than Tesla has ever earned as a company. As profit, not over 1 or 2 or 5 years, but over the entire lifetime of the company. Well, not paying a single cent of dividend to the shareholders. And he's complaining about unjust enrichment. Yeah. Can we just tap on the same scale there the payment that Musk is so outraged about unjust enrichment for? Now, Musk does actually have a point here. It is kind of outrageous for people to charge a $100 million fee for completing a lawsuit. Your average lifetime earning of your typical American is about $1 million. So this is like the lifetime earnings of 100 or so people for a few guys doing a few months' work. But Musk is the least suited person to be leveling such criticisms, in that Whilst that is kind of outrageous, what is stupidly outrageous is awarding yourself a bonus of the lifetime earnings of 50,000 Americans. For what exactly? I mean, what did he actually do that was worth this much to the company?
There were no novel or difficult questions of law involved, nor did the litigation require any special skills beyond that which Twitter could have procured by paying hourly rates to many other reputable law firms.
Seriously, what was Musk's unique contribution that was worth $56 billion? In reality, all Musk did was make a load of vaporware claims about Tesla. But this is the strange thing. Being able to lie with a straight face isn't a unique property of Elon Musk.
Yes, now we have a huge number of tests that are available through our lab, but instead of charging $10,000 for them, we're charging $2.99.
Yeah, that was Elizabeth Holmes making up stuff, which pumped the stock of her company up to about $9 billion of value. And when it became clear that she was basically making it all up, she eventually ended up going to prison for about 10 years.
Which means his goal as a human is to make as much money as possible just to give it away. Last year, this 29-year-old guy donated $50 million. Next decade, he will probably give away more than $10 billion.
Yeah, let's just say there's a pretty strong correlation between disruptive entrepreneur billionaires who only want to give things away. They're only interested in the benefit of mankind.
SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and Boring Company are philanthropy. If you say philanthropy is love of humanity.
Actually, Tesla is philanthropy if you say philanthropy is loving yourself enough to give yourself a $56 billion bonus. Almost as much as the rest of the entire company gets paid put together.
Tesla is accelerating sustainable energy. SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and Boring Company are philanthropy. If you say philanthropy is love of humanity, SpaceX is trying to ensure the long-term survival of humanity with multi-planet species. This is love of humanity.
He wants to get rich in order to impact the world and change it.
Try to think about what are the most important problems facing the world today, and what can you do to help make those as much better as possible.
Yeah, there seems to be a correlation between the savior complex billionaire and the fraudster.
You've described yourself.
I don't care about the economics at all.
X here, sorry, that would be FTX, was the largest crypto scam on the planet.
Sam is 29 years old only, but Sam has $22 billion. And he wants to donate all of it to charity. In the next few decades, Sam may become a trillionaire. He is an example that age is just a number and that making money is not a bad thing as long as you use that money to help the world.
Yeah, Sam ain't a billionaire anymore. And rather than looking at becoming a trillionaire, he is now looking at about 150 years in prison or embezzling about $10 billion. Elon Musk's vaporware claims about Tesla make all of Sam Bankman-Fried and Elizabeth Holmes' claims seem like amateur hour. Most stunning was his claim that he had invented a robo-taxi that would be ready next year in 2020 that would generate 100% profit per year, and he was going to be selling them for $20,000, $30,000, that sort of thing.
If you say what would be the probable gross profit from a single robo-taxi, we think probably something on the order of $30,000 per year, and we expect to have the first operating robo-taxis next year with no one in them next year.
And just so we're clear, most stable investments in the world typically generate about 5% return on investment per year. He would be claiming that he was making something that would give you 100% return on investment per year with no risk. Something that was obviously a scam. To give you some idea of how utterly delusional his claims are, if you started with a $20,000 investment when you were 20 and kept putting your returns back into buying more cars with 100% return on investment per year, By the time you retired, your business income would be larger than the GDP of the entire world. Yeah, just because something's obviously a scam doesn't mean that people won't invest in it. But Musk sold the lie hard.
It's financially insane to buy anything other than a Tesla. It'll be like owning a horse in 3 years. I mean, fine if you want to own a horse, but you should go into it with that expectation.
What I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Yeah, not one single word that Elon Musk said there was true.
If you buy a car that does not have the hardware necessary for full self-driving, it is like buying a horse. And the only car that has the hardware necessary for full self-driving is a Tesla.
Yep, not true then, and not true now.
Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Like, people should really think about their purchase. Any other vehicle. It's basically crazy to buy any other car than a Tesla.
Yeah, let's take a look at what actually happened. Not some 3 years later, but 4 years later.
Level 4 autonomy, what Ford was abandoning when it shut down Argo AI, is a vehicle that can drive itself in nearly all conditions.
The core technology was solid. The system that they were developing was really strong, really robust. That's not why Argo failed. It wasn't the technology. It was the business side of it that was the challenge.
Other rivals are still working on Level 4 autonomy. Waymo, Cruise, and Baidu, a Chinese company operating primarily outside the US, are three that stand out. One that isn't a leader, Tesla.
It's financially insane to buy anything other than a Tesla.
Tesla's technology is kind of a joke.
It'll be like owning a horse in 3 years. I mean, fine if you want to own a horse, but you should go into it with that expectation.
It's not even remotely close to being something that can operate without a human being behind the wheel, supervising, ready to take over at any time.
Tesla is arguably the world's biggest robotics company because our cars are like semi-sentient robots on wheels.
But now, with the software update, you can actually make thousands of people drive safer, just with a software update overnight.
Wow. And with the full self-driving computer, essentially the inference engine on the car.
It's not even remotely close to being something that can operate without a human being behind the wheel.
That's actually
Neural nets, recognizing the world, understanding how to navigate through the world.
Are we gonna have to cut that?
And for those who want to know what amazing advancement Elon Musk has made, from promising that they would have 1 million robo-taxis operational in 2020, it's advanced way out of the vaporware promising phase in 2019 into the vaporware hyper-promising phase in 2023.
And our sort of future robo-taxi products, dedicated robo-taxi products, we think have like quasi-infinite demand. So
that's not why Argo failed. It wasn't the technology. It was the business side of it.
The way we're going to manufacture the robo-taxi is also itself a revolution.
It's not even remotely close to being something that can operate without a human being behind the wheel.
And so it's revolutionary design made in a revolutionary way. It'll be by far the highest units per hour of any vehicle production ever.
It's really, I swear it's not that hard.
Yeah, this is the man who wants you to trust him to run half of the world's finances. So what's the backstory with, kill it with fire, kill it with fire? Sorry, what's the backstory with X? You see, years ago, before Musk had failed to revolutionize the world with robo-taxis or hyperloops or tunnels, solar roofs or trucks that would beat trains or a million other empty promises. If only there was some sort of pattern here. Before that, he was going to revolutionize banking with a company called X.com. The sales pitch seems remarkably familiar to those who watched the sales pitch for the robo-taxis or Hyperloop or tunnels or solar roofs and the such like.
So this is an ATM. What we're going to do is transform the traditional banking industry.
I do not fit the picture of a banker.
X.com, this is Julie.
Raising $50 million is a matter of making a series of phone calls, and the money is there. I've sunk the great majority of my net worth into X.com, which is the new banking and mutual funds company on the internet that I've started.
Big X.
Exactly. X.com. I think X.com could absolutely be a multi-billion-dollar bonanza, because if you look at the industry that X is pursuing, it's the biggest sector of the world economy.
He started a company called X.com, which is not a porn website, but an email payment company. And within a year or so, the investors saw Elon Musk as inexperienced and replaced him. Meanwhile, PayPal was a product of a company called Confinity. And at the time, they were more popular than X.com, and so the companies merged. Now, in short order, Elon Musk first ousted the CEO of PayPal, only for the board, because of Elon Musk's lack of technological issues and cohesive business model, to oust Musk and replace him with the original CEO of PayPal. The company later changed its name from Confinity to PayPal. And while Musk had been fired before this, he kept his shares, which later, after those who fired him made the company worth over $1 billion, he cashed out his shares and instantly became a multi-millionaire. So what was the tech genius's role in PayPal? Well, let's see, he got fired and someone else made the company worth a lot of money. And that was Musk's entire expertise in finances, getting fired to make way for competent people. Now here we are, some 20 years on, and he wants to reanimate the failed corpse of an idea to see if melding it with a microblogging site for no apparent reason will lead to a different result. And God, yeah, is this a cathartic moment for me. For years, I had to put up with people like these telling me that Elon Musk was brilliant.
He's our Edison. This is our Thomas Edison. This is our Da Vinci of our generation.
That if I didn't think so too, then the only possible explanation must be that I was jealous. Well, folks, turns out I wasn't jealous. I was something other than jealous. I was right.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Many thanks to all those who have supported this channel over the years on Patreon. And if you really liked the video, drop a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing for more great content like this. And thanks for watching.